Welcome to Siesta with Suki. Thank you so much for joining me. We are here today with Wilbert for part 2 of our conversation on how he developed and came about his business. So we're here to learn a little bit about who he is and how this whole process came along. And as always, I thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate your time. I know you could be doing so many other things, and you've chosen to spend that time with us. So thank you. So without further ado, Wilbert.
Hi.
Hi again. Yes, welcome back.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so we are now talking about the birth of Casa de Elfo. So let's just start with the name. How do we get to Casa de Elfo?
Well, so a couple parts to that. I wish it was more interesting than it actually
No,
is.
I'm sure
Okay. First of all, I'm a big fantasy, sci-fi movie series guy, and I like elves and hobbits. And I just like elves, and initially the name went through a kind of an iteration. Initially it was El Elfo Chocolate, the chocolate elf.
Okay.
And because I'm kind of sure I like elves, I'm kind of a chocolatey color. But because Oaxaca is known for not only mezcal but also chocolate, it was going to cause a little confusion.
Yes.
People were going to think it's kind of a chocolate store, so that kind of fell away. And then it became just El Elfo. But you have to register a name here in Mexico. And when we went to check the registry, someone in Mexico already owns El Elfo.
Interesting.
And they were just like, hey, we need a new name right here on the spot. And so I'm in a mall commercialization called Casa de Barro. And I was like, okay, I'll just take a little bit of that and I'll just make it Casa del Elfo. And so that's how we kind of got there.
Okay.
A love of elves.
Love of elves. Okay. So we're going to start at the very beginning process. So you've gone through the process. You've decided that instead of getting your own place, you're going to take over from someone else.
Yes.
Not a bad idea in certain cases because it's really good to actually have someone else because they decided to stay on with you, right, for a few months?
Yeah, they did.
So you kind of got a turnkey operation. You got employees.
Yes.
You've got the inventory, someone who's actually going to show you how things work.
Yes.
And so it kind of gives you a leg up from the learning curve. Probably saved you about a year.
It did.
Of just stuff, So you take it over, but then you've got to do your own stuff.
Gotta do my own stuff.
Paperwork. Let's talk paperwork. So you've got to go to the health department.
I've got to go because owning a restaurant here, and people, this is a good point because a lot of people think, I'll just come to Mexico and I'll just do a business. Mexico has laws.
Lots of them.
A lot of them. And so owning a restaurant, you have to meet a lot of laws. Bar restaurant. I have a restaurant license and a full bar license. And so one of those requirements is you have to go through health and medical checks. All of the people that work there, including me. Even though I don't work there daily, I'm there a lot and I might make an occasional drink for someone. And I wanted to go through everything the employees were going through also. So we had to go through a medical test and this was it was pretty serious. They do a nail scraping, a tongue scraping. You have to give a sample of your fecal matter. Poop in a cup. Sorry.
Oh boy! You have to do this yourself?
Yeah, we do that. They came one day before. They gave us a training of how to do everything. The appropriate specimen size, all of the details. That you don't want to.
Pray you don't have constipation.
I know. There's
man.
all kind of things going through
messy.
your head.
Okay.
And so.
And what are they checking for?
They're checking for parasites for the most part.
Okay.
Which turns out is a good thing.
Oh no, yes, absolutely.
Because I didn't realize to the extent here, because maybe there's a lot of street food and a lot of different things, and so your body gets a chance to get introduced to a lot of parasites.
Yes.
And so in about 3 or 4 days, those tests come back. Actually, 3 of my employees came back with positive tests.
Really?
And so, which means you have to take medication and retest, which I had to pay for all of that kind of again for those 3 employees, and it's an annual requirement. So we have to do it every single year. So that was unique because even in the U.S., you don't go through that to work at a restaurant. So
no.
So feel reassured if you come.
I feel very reassured right now. They have given up their fecal matter.
I know.
Just the fact that you didn't run away as the employee, I feel like halfway there. I'm like, okay.
I felt bad because one of the young waiters, he was just disgusted at the whole process, and he was soaking his fingernails in alcohol the day before. He just went and he was one of the ones that came back positive and had to do it all over again.
I'm actually pretty amazed that they gave you training. That
No,
is
it was serious.
fantastic.
It was serious. So.
Okay.
And then, on top of that, that's the medical side of it.
Yes.
There are all of these certifications that restaurants have to have, especially if you're going to have a full service bar. There are a number of inspectors. Well, the number of inspectors that come through that actually inspect. There's one list, and they all use the same list. And I remember all saying, "Can it just be one inspection?" But they check for the same things.
Okay.
And so you have to go through that every time. And honestly, I don't know how much in detail what just be in Mexico. I passed everything on inspection. There would always be one little light that needs to be, but you might be able to get that done, or just give me a cheeseburger.
And
It's Mexico.
yes, and you're just like, well done. How did you like it? Yes. So that actually brings it. I want to kind of get right into this for people because in part twos, I definitely like to address the criticisms
Yes.
of people and just kind of let people know behind the scenes of what happens
Yes.
with business. So once you and I talked about the criticism of the cost of tea, everyone's
Yes.
like, this costs too much money. But talk to me about that. Your pricing, and that kind of leads into this, obviously the whole gentrification
Yes.
conversation and
Yeah.
all of that. But as I'm talking to you, the numbers are clicking in my mind, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, we have to pay for these tests. Okay, we have to pay for these for the employees. You, for your employees, not only employ them full time, but you also pay for health insurance
Yes,
for
I
half
do.
of them. Employing people not only means employing them, paying their salaries, but there's also paying into the IMSS,
Yes.
right? So there's an extra, 28%?
Yeah, 28% basically on top of the salary generally
Okay.
to cover health insurance.
Okay, and let's just do basic numbers. Now, I'm not saying this is what they're paid. I don't want, suddenly everybody to be showing up at his place looking for dates for his employees or anything. I don't know. I'm just giving you a number, right? So let's just say we're gonna use an easy number, 10,000. If each employee paid 10,000 pesos a month, that would mean that you would have to pay essentially, out of pocket, it's about 13
Yes.
per
correct.
person.
Correct.
Okay, and truth be told, they're not very concerned whether or not you made your money at the bar or not. I mean,
Correct.
when I say they're not concerned,
Yeah.
I mean they care. I've seen everybody there. Everybody cares. But ultimately, that is your responsibility to make sure that your employees are taken care of.
Yes.
Okay, and in order to do that, the community participates honestly through the pricing.
Yes.
Okay, and there's a lot more that goes on. You've talked to me about the door. We'll talk about some of this. I'm just giving you guys the fast version so we can make sure we squeeze this in the 30 minutes for you because I know the stories. But there's a lot by way of shipping things to yourself, making sure food is fresh. Sometimes people are sick out and you've got to be the one to kind of work out all of that. You've got live music. I mean, we don't have to talk exact numbers, but are we breaking even yet?
We're not breaking even yet. We're getting close to breaking even. And I want to be clear, when I say breaking even, I'm not taking a salary.
No, I understand breaking even, believe me, because I know
I'm just
that word, yeah.
Getting the expenses to cover the outgo, the income to cover the outflow.
That's literally all I am.
And Oaxaca is very, we have tourist season, and right now, April is a very tough month.
And
because
May will be too, because it's hot.
No one is here.
Yes.
Yeah, everybody's gone back home. I mean, the tourists have gone back home. So
Yes, a lot of tourists have gone,
Yeah.
and sometimes they just go for this period because
Yes,
it's hot,
yes.
so they leave. Or honestly, it's so hot they're just sitting inside.
Yes.
So so it is very, but you can't do this to your employees.
No, absolutely.
Okay, so when it's time to pay,
Yeah, I have to pay.
you have to pay. So again, I'm just sharing this with you, my audience, because a lot of times people think about business and Wilbert's a happy person and maybe he makes it feel and look easy and he might feel content, but there are real numbers that he's got to work with and real obligations that he has. It is not a simple matter to say to someone, I'm going to hire you. You understand when you hire them that you are making an obligation to them, that they are using that money to take care of themselves, take care of their families,
Yes.
right? Aunts, uncles, parents. So you recognize that you're not only responsible for their payment, but their whole family. So that's a responsibility that you've got to take pretty seriously. You can't just say, well, at least I get the impression we don't just say,
Yeah.
oh, I'm just going to be done with you and you'll just find something else. right? You don't bring people on to let them go.
Correct.
So to do that, then pricing has to be, where it is.
It is. And I think here in Mexico, the law says one thing, and a lot of businesses don't do everything the law says.
Yeah.
And so what we're trying to do, I mean, we have not only insurance for the employees, we have insurance for the structure of the building. So, or if someone falls in there, so we have coverage. So that's an extra expense. There are regular fumigations that we have to do at the restaurant. Mm-hmm. That costs an expense.
But if you fall inside, we'll drag you out.
Drag
you right outside the front.
and I'm glad you brought up the employees, because I do want to touch on that, because I think what makes a restaurant work is the employees that are there. And it took me a few months, but I really enjoy the folks I have there. They're happy folks. They work hard. They seem to enjoy coming to work. And so I get excited about going in and hanging out with them and working with them.
So first of all, can I tell you that I might apply to work for Wilbert? Because Wilbert the other day took his crew down to Puerto Escondido for an appreciation day. And I was like, how come I don't work for him, right? If I had known he was doing this, I would have applied the month before. I'd have gone through all my checks. We'd have gone down to Puerto and I'd have let him know, look, I'll be on call for you. I want to work for Wilbert.
My first trip to the beach, by the way.
Yes, and it looked good. It looked good. I think a day trip. Now that we can do day trips.
Day trips.
I think that
new highway.
Yes. Get up at 5:36. Get down there. Do the morning on the beach. Do your beach day. Get back. I think that's just the best. And I agree with you. I've been thinking lately. I do a lot of thinking. I do a lot of exercising. So you got to do something while you're exercising, right? And it occurred to me that. A lot of people come here and they say they're trying to find their tribe, and your tribe is when you're an employer, that's actually what you're doing as well, right? You need people around you who are on that same wavelength.
Yes.
For me, I need believers, I need people who can see not what's here right now, but what I'm seeing 2-3 years from now, and knowing that we're going to work together to get there. And so I work with visionaries. I work with people with a vision, who want more, who want to do better, what have you. And it's a recent kind of thing, because I've in the past been the feel sorry for you kind of hire. Don't do it. I'm here to just help you guys out. I've lived a little bit of life, not a lot, but just a little bit of life. And I have done some things with the bleeding heart. You just got to leave that behind, because eventually you just let it go anyway. Yeah. And there's kind of no point. Better for you and them if everyone's on the same wavelength, you're riding the same wave, and then you feel as you do. You're happy to go in and see them. They're happy to come in and see you. And the thing is, that comes out in the video that we're going to convince Jorge to put at this point right now. Yes. That shows in the videos that you guys put and do together, and the creativity that comes out into it. So I guess the audience will find out, did we convince Jorge, did we not? I guess we'll find out in a second. So we're at the bar, and your initial vision was what? In the very, very beginning, you thought, how am I going to run this operation? How'd you figure you were going to run it?
Well, initially, when I bought the business, it was more of kind of a coffee shop, still the cafe.
Yes.
I wanted more of a cocktail bar.
Okay.
And so I had to, that required a renovation of the entire place. I wanted it to look like a place I wanted to work at. I wanted it to be something we were proud of coming in. So we did a major in my spectrum renovation of the entire place to make it feel like a cocktail bar, to make, to have an actual bar where you can set up, because a lot of bars in Oaxaca is kind of service bars. They're not meant for you to kind of set at. So I wanted to be a place you can kind of come inside, have a drink, have a conversation with the bartender. And fortunately, this place has a really nice patio also. So if you wanted to sit outside and just have a private conversation or enjoy music on a music night, you can kind of do that also. So I really like the space that we kind of chose. And I kind of like, even though this renovation, our 3-month renovation is still going on over a year later.
It's just Mexico saying bienvenido. It's just going to go on forever. And that's okay.
We're enjoying the space. So.
Yes. Well, it is beautiful. Thank you for the chairs. I need comfortable chairs for myself, so I do appreciate that. So you've got the bar looking like you did, but then more recently you've gotten into live music, more events. So talk to us about that.
I wanted it to be a gathering place, and so one of the things I like about is we're a bar, but we're a cafe and we're a coffee shop. We have great coffee, by the way. So the things those that have in common, the things that those things have in common is that we gather around food, we gather around drinking any beverage, not just alcohol. So I wanted it to be I wanted to use that theme to continue that theme, to bring live music to the arena. So you can come there, you can enjoy dinner with your friends, you can enjoy a drink, you can also enjoy live music. In Oaxaca, you don't have a lot of venues where you can kind of sit outside, at least, unless some of the terraces.
Yes.
But this is not a terrace, but just to have a street level kind of patio. We have very small sidewalks, and you just don't have a lot of that. And so because we had that patio, I wanted to kind of utilize it and bring that live music to kind of the scene. And people seem to be enjoying it. I like it.
Yeah.
And it's given musicians, it's opened up kind of, it wasn't in my original, I wanted live music, but I didn't know it was going to turn out to the thing that it has.
Okay.
I have musicians kind of writing me now, kind of hearing about it, and they want to come perform. And I'm really it's kind of unique. I'm kind of channeling the singer kind of songwriter kind of musicians.
Okay.
And so I'm having a blast. It seems like people are enjoying it.
Okay. And I'm going to do a plug here. He didn't even ask me, maybe I don't even eat burgers, so I can't even get a free burger, right? So for me, actually, one of the things that really makes sense about the patio and the outdoor patio, because I love the outside-inside space. During rainy season, I love my rooftops and all of that, but you're not sitting on the rooftop in the rainy season because it's rainy season, right? 4 or 5 o'clock is coming down on you. You can go into the space and you can be out of the patio and it doesn't make a difference. It's not going to rain in on you. So it's actually a great place to be in, especially as we're coming up on the rainy season. You're not going to ever have to run out with and I've done this, run out with your food or anything like that. So I really do appreciate that. I definitely appreciate the sense of community that you are also trying to bring in. But it's, true to part two. So you and I are around the same age a little bit. I'm a little bit younger.
A little bit.
But I got a little Tim Russert in me, so I'm doing my little Tim Russert for you right now. If you remember Tim, Meet the Press.
I do.
Yes. So that's like my vision. So what's the deal with the food for us, vegetarian, vegan folks?
We have vegetarian options. I don't know where. Okay.
So talk to me about what they are. I want to know.
And
I've probably gotten all of them. I need a vegan or vegetarian burger.
Okay.
And now you're on the spot.
That is still in the works.
Okay.
But and actually put a plug in for my neighbor. First of all, we have good vegetarian food and food that you can make vegan with a few choices. We don't have a vegetarian burger yet. But just in the larger mall complex, just to give you a little background about that, and to put a plug in for my neighbors, one of the things the mall administrator wanted, that owns the entire plaza, he wanted different venues to serve different kind of people. We have food desires. We have Bar Jardín, which is more traditional Mexican food, really large.
Go there often, yes.
We have Aguacate, which is all vegetarian.
It is.
Every now and then I see you guys sneaking up there.
I go up there, yes, because they've got my lentil burger for me. They got my garbanzo burger. They've got my carrot soup.
And they're friends of mine. I love those guys.
Yes,
So we all share customers, and we have, like, if you go all the way up to the top, Agavero, which is more of a I don't know what you kind of.
So Agavero, interesting enough, they are, because I guess I'm probably a vegan vegetarian cheater. They have this chapulines dip. No, it's really amazing though, right? It's literally a dip. So if you go there and ask for their Agavero fries and ask for the chapulines dip.
Really?
And this dip is amazing.
Okay, I learned something about the place I'm working at.
Yeah, so I have, I've been, challenged. I have not eaten chapulines yet on anything. I hear it's supposed to be great. I've definitely been invited to go catch some. Haven't done it yet. But in this particular dip, it is outstanding.
Okay, I'm going to try it.
Yes, and I bring people there, and I'm like, this is what you want to do. And they do actually have they have a mushroom tacos and sometimes that I do there. So I've eaten that a lot, in Oaxaca. Okay, so anyway, I just want to be on camera. We gotta, get these things going. And it's good that you have a thing with the neighbors. Like, I will sometimes. I don't even know if they're okay with it. No one says anything to me. But I will go to different places and buy things and then just be at one place.
Oh, you could totally do that.
Yeah,
you could
so
totally
it's
do
like,
that. We're all like, we all know each other. We all have a lot of WhatsApp
nice.
chat.
Like family. That's nice. Okay, appreciate that. Okay, so that's spot number one. So spot number two is, my biggest thing is, what are we doing to be like sustainable, right? Because we know the challenges here in Oaxaca between the between the water,
Uh-huh.
between, there's not, I don't know if there's that much you can do by way of water, but even like food, if you have extras, do you guys do anything, or what's your thinking on, and maybe you don't do anything now, but what's your thinking about how to kind of contribute more to the greater community?
Well, what we do, I mean, we're a small cafe. I
You
want to
are,
be clear
yes.
about that. And so we literally buy food weekly and daily sometimes. So
Okay.
Monday is our big shopping day. And then if we run out of, the beauty about Oaxaca, you can order
Oh, yeah.
fresh vegetables or meats, and they'll deliver them right to you. So we don't generate a lot of, I mean, just by ordering what we need, and because we can get what we need within, 30 minutes to an hour. So not like a big commercial place where we have to buy enough to make sure we're gonna do X, Y, Z, and then it's gonna be all this waste that we get rid of. Doesn't work that way.
Okay.
In a small cafe, you buy it as you kind of need it.
Okay.
So I mean that would be the primary thing we're doing, is like not ordering things as we. But the flip side about that, occasionally you're gonna run out of something,
Yes.
and it's not gonna be available
Yes.
that day, and so you just have to tell people on the menu it's gone. Come back tomorrow.
Yes. Well, at this point, once you lived here, you kind of like used to that kind of idea. So okay, so we are here where we are now. So talk to me about your 3 years from now. Ideally, what does Casa Del Elfo look like?
What I would like to do, number one, I hope and pray we're still in business 3 years from today.
Oh, you will be. People, you're going to watch this, and we're going to go. We're just going to show up and be like, look, I saw you, and please let me get that expensive tea. The most expensive tea you have on your menu. I
You're
want
taking
it.
care of my employees.
That's it right there. That's it. So we're showing up. So 3 years from now, you're still here. So what do we do?
I'm already thinking about, business is going, like I said, I'm kind of breaking even on some months, which I like. But I once you get into these ventures, you discover new opportunities.
Yes.
And I've already thought about maybe expanding in this other area that there's kind of a need. I don't think there's a lot of places where you can go watch sports and have sports food in Oaxaca. There are a few. We call them in the U.S. a sports bar.
Yes.
So I've been thinking about doing a small version of a sports bar where, there are televisions,
Yes.
there's craft beer from Mexico, there's kind of a sports bar type food. Again, another gathering place to watch big events, whether it be soccer, football, and drink beer.
Yes.
So
yeah.
that's my next venture.
Okay. And it's actually, fun. The World Cup is coming, right?
Yes.
That's going to be interesting. And obviously we went, I can't remember where we went to go watch the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So it was fun.
Yeah.
It was like, everybody's wearing their San Francisco shirts and they would have you, and we're all like, yeah. And of course, you have mezcal, because, everybody doesn't drink cervezas.
Of course, I
know.
don't even drink beer, and I'm gonna open a sports bar.
Yeah, actually, I don't drink beer either, so I don't know. The only time that I was introduced to beer, which is probably why I don't drink beer,
What?
was by a gentleman named Guinness. He
He
lived on the first floor of the dorm, and he was like, you gotta try this, and I was like, okay, and so he tells me to try the Guinness. This is not a good idea.
Big dark beer, right?
Oh. First and last time. I was like, this is just evil. Whatever's happening in this bottle, absolutely not. Please bring me back the wine cooler. And that was it. And I have never drunk a beer. It just doesn't do it. So some of us at the source bar will be drinking, something else.
Yeah.
Mezcal, and even
we have some apple cider and some kombucha.
Oh, so kombucha's good though. I feel like he's making fun of kombucha. Oh.
I love kombucha. I used to make fun of kombucha until I
Okay.
tried it.
I'm saying, don't knock the kombucha. What are we talking about? So no, those are good, and I think the gathering, and it's really like the weather here is always pretty fantastic.
Yes.
So it's really great for coming together and gathering some good fries, some good finger food. So I think that would be a really nice. Option for just sometimes watching the games, and make sure you have some computer ports in the things.
So
I do come with my computer.
We have, that's what, and we didn't mention this because I really invested in Wi-Fi.
Okay.
And so we have a much faster Wi-Fi, probably one of the fastest in that area. And even for the sports bar, I've already started talking about it. I want to have it even faster. I've talked to them about is it Skynet? What's the Elon Musk thing?
I'm about to tell you it is Skynet, and it's not.
It's not Skynet.
Starlink.
Skynet was the Terminator.
Oh my goodness! We're telling people they're gonna die. Oh man. Starling, we are not making any judgments on what this is all about. We don't know if anyone's watching you. We're just giving you the information. Starling.
So if I did that, I would get, because you want to have good, fast, reliable internet.
Yeah.
And that's not always easy here in Oaxaca. It's
No.
one of our challenges.
Yeah, but people are very forgiving because it definitely went out on us a couple times in the Super Bowl.
Yes.
We just kind of chatted with each other until, you know what we missed too though, which was interesting. We just didn't realize. Because it was being shown in Mexico and I guess it was a different feed, we didn't see any of the commercials.
Oh, that's interesting.
I know, and I was saddened to realize how much I watched the Super
That's
Bowl.
the only reason I watched the Super
I
Bowl
know,
is
I
freaking
was like,
the
"Ooh."
commercials.
Yeah, we didn't get to see any of the commercials, and I was like, oh, I'm actually here for the commercials. This is mildly disturbing, So you got to figure out a way to get the whole commercial thing going when you do that. Okay, so you're here. So 3 years. That's you business.
That's the next building. I want this to be making money.
Yes.
And hopefully have expanded into this other project.
Okay.
That's the goal.
That's the goal. Okay, so we're there with that is the manifestation. We're not even going to call it a goal.
Okay, I'll take that.
So you have said it, so it shall be. So talk to me about you personally, though. 3 years from now, how's your life?
What I would like to do, this is like separate from the business, because I like it here in Oaxaca, and I've thought about, I'd like to have a piece of property, like a house like you, or a property here in Oaxaca. So I've started thinking about that, and this is kind of a better way of doing it, because I'll really, I've learned a lot about Oaxaca, but now that I've actually got a business here, I've done renovations here, I've opened a bank account here, and I'm sure you know that challenge. So a lot of those things I've kind of done, and I think the next project, if it's more personal and buying a property, I would definitely...
A property to renovate?
Yeah, property. Well, here's the thing. Okay, you get some really... I've been talking to an architect, and he said, hey, sometimes renovating a property can cost you almost as much as building it from scratch.
Oh, man, real talk. I can't believe you got so much good real talk. I'm so proud of him.
And so...
Yes, this is so true. The only difference is the money's spread out.
Yeah.
So you're gonna spend thousands of dollars.
Yes.
The difference is thousands over 2
Yes,
years,
yes.
or thousands really fast.
So
but it's the same.
It's kind of changed my way of thinking. And he's like, you build it, you have what you want, you're gonna renovate it, you're gonna end up spending as much money, you're still gonna make a whole bunch of compromises, and you're gonna be surprised when you dig stuff up that you thought was, And so I've kind of changed my thinking on that. So I'll probably get a piece of land or whatever. If something is there, just get rid of it and build something else, or if it's blank, build it from there.
Okay. Well, I'm with you. Since we're talking homes and renovations, we kind of went on a fun little tangent. For me, actually, I would say I love the existing homes, like the older ones.
I know.
Not only are they beautiful, they've lasted through the earthquakes. So if I'm buying an existing home, I'm buying something that's like 40, 50 years old easy. Because I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, okay. There was the big one in 87, still here. And so for me, I'm going to do the checks and everything, but if you made it through the big one of 87, I feel solid about this build. We're in a good place. But I will also say that, I've just been, anybody I can talk to, I talk to about not just sustainability, but just all of it, reusing, thinking about the environment, everything. When you can start your space fresh or renovate, you can really put in those things, right? And I showed you our water system.
I was really impressed. I was inspired by that.
You said the solar, and here it gets so much sun, so it's fantastic, right? So you can dream, and for me, it's like you don't have to be in the middle of nowhere. And bless the middle of nowhere. Sometimes I need to go to the middle of nowhere, so I'm not saying no. But it's like you can still be in the city and do, the city's not lost.
Yeah.
It's about, and Mexico, I find the ingenuity here is incredible. I mean, if something's wrong with my car, and literally this is like so true, part of the front of my car like dropped, like the undercarriage or something, and I was driving, and somebody's waving me down. They're like, oh, well, something's wrong. And I'm like, what? Yeah, I don't know what's happening. So I put down my window, and he starts saying a whole lot of words to me that I honestly don't. I mean, I got the whole cowl part, but I don't know the car part. I know the big words, carburetor, things like that. I have no idea what undercarriage means, nothing. And he's like, the undercarriage of your car is, thing. So I'm like, so anyway, and then on top of that, I'm dressed. So I kind of give him a shrug shoulder because, I mean, honestly, I wasn't going to the undercarriage of my car. So the best I was going to do is dial some numbers and call Evan. That's as close as I was getting to actually taking action. He's like, don't worry about it. And he goes, and he's like dressed and everything. He goes underneath my car, and he jimmies it in, and he sticks the little thing, and it's hot. It was hot. It was Saturday. It was hot on Saturday. It was like 12 o'clock in the afternoon.
I remember.
Now he's sweating and his hands are all dark, and I'm like, I am mortified now, because I'm like, I did not understand that what we were talking about was kind of this big of a deal, you know. So, and I'm making sure my car, you know, the emergency brake is up and everything, because we're on an incline and he's literally underneath the hood of my car. So I'm like, I'm going to kill this poor man, you know, who's underneath and doing this thing. But he literally made sure that he, and he is not he's not a mechanic, anything. He said to himself, how can we do this? That, I have to say, has been the biggest blessing for me here in Mexico. I come to this house and I say to them, I have a dream. I want to do this. I want to drink the water this way. I want to do this way. I want the light come in. No one says no. No one says no. Sometimes it's not a good thing. It's not always. Sometimes they're supposed to tell me no and be like, "Zuki, this is illegal," because I find out later when the people show up and they're like, "That's illegal." I'm like, but they said yes. They said yes. I'm so sorry. I didn't know. But I appreciate that it doesn't seem crazy to folks.
Yes,
you know,
yes.
I'm like, let's run water, do the thing, and they're like, okay, yeah, let's run the water, do
This
the
place,
thing.
I was telling Jorge earlier, I was really impressed with the place. So I love what you've done here.
Thank you. I
Yeah,
appreciate that.
yeah.
We have. It's been a long vision. You know, there was the initial, we'll be done in 6 months, and then Mexico was like, ha ha ha. I had to find that funny. So it's just going to be kind of ongoing, but it's actually been good because it's given us time to think.
Yes.
And really implement all the different things that we've been looking for, and that has been a blessing. So while at the time, blood pressure raised.
Well, keep good notes. So 3 years from now, when I go down this journey, it will be like
Yeah, I got
a room compared to this place.
I've got notes, boy. It's very serious, but it's been good, and that's why I say about your personality and that kind of thing too. I do believe that when you go someplace and it's another culture, it's not your original culture, you have to adapt.
You do.
Or you don't. I guess you can leave because the culture's not adapting to you. You really have to adapt to the culture and the way things are done. Which brings me, what I want to leave our audience with is my favorite Facebook post from you. Like number one. Like yes, this was just endless amusement that morning.
Some wisdom? What was this post?
Oh, this was beautiful. This post started off with something, and I'm gonna have to paraphrase because I don't have it here in front of me. But the post starts off with, 5 years ago, we all reacted with indignation when Walmart was caught paying off officials, bribing people. We were just astounded that they would stoop to such business practices. But today, I, Wilbert, would like to apologize to Walmart. I sincerely apologize, Walmart.
I just didn't know.
That's it.
I didn't know, Walmart.
That's it. And we have all been in that place. Because I certainly was that person. I was like, unacceptable.
No.
What on earth?
They just needed their lights turned on.
That's it. That is exactly it. And so you definitely learn, okay.
This is what has to do.
This is just what it is.
It's too big. You just gotta, it's too big.
You just need to follow the wavelength.
You follow the wave.
Get in the
ride
boat,
the wave.
Ride the wave.
Yeah.
You're out here trying to row on the other side of the wave. What are you doing?
No.
You're not going anywhere.
End of the day, you need your lights on.
You need your lights on. That's what it is. You need to open your doors.
Yeah.
And so you ride that wave with joy.
Yes.
I smile at everyone I ride the wave with. Sometimes the wave comes in here, the wave is a little expensive, and I'm like, oh, that's okay. I will ride this wave with joy and happiness, and it's perfectly fine. And it's just a matter of, adapting and just recognizing what is. It's actually, I find it really interesting because in certain contexts, we will call it corruption and all this other stuff, right? But if you go to a small village, that's how business is done.
Yes.
You go, a lot of villages, you give the chief, this is in Africa in particular, you give the chief a cow or whatever, and you need.
That's a good perspective.
I mean, that's what it is though, right?
Yeah.
That's literally how you do. You got to go give the cow if you want to get your property built, and then he or she says da 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 da, and then no problem. So you know what? It's cool. If you would like your cow, I will bring the fattest cow that I can find for you. Take your cow.
To get through this
love
process.
your cow, and we will be in joy and happiness. Well, thank you so much, Wilbert. We're gonna do some shameless plugging right now.
Okay.
Stay with us. We're just gonna do some shameless plugs. You're going to do a shameless plug
Okay.
for Casa Del Elfo. Give me the best that you've got. Talk to us about
I got,
why we're going
I
there.
got 3 shameless plugs.
Oh, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's
First
do
of
our
all,
plugs. All right.
Casa Del Elfo, I really believe there's probably 5 or 6 really good cocktail bars in Oaxaca. Really good. I mean, and I think Casa Del Elfo is one of them. We have a really great bartender. So come there. We have a great selection of whiskeys.
And rum.
And rum and mezcal, but only 1 tequila because who wants mezcal?
Oh, yes. Not here. Sorry.
And the food, as I mentioned, the food is fresh. We buy it definitely weekly, oftentimes daily. So come there. And some of the best, we designed our own coffee brand now, where we tweaked it to get the coffee flavor that we're looking for. So come get your espresso drinks in a beautiful place and use our really fast Wi-Fi. So that's happening. And come enjoy some live music because we have a variety of musicians coming weekly. But the big thing that's happening right now, which is a big thing. So on May 24th and 25th, we're not May yet, but at the end of next month, we have a really beautiful terraza on top of the mall. So we're going to take over that entire terraza. It doesn't belong to us, it's above us. So we're renting out the space. We're going to have 20 to 25 different local palinkis that are coming. You're going to be able to taste all these mezcals in one place. Now, there are a lot of these kind of mezcal fairs, but I'm actually tasting most of these mezcals because weekly leading up to that, every Friday we have one of these palinkis come in and we taste their mezcals. And one of the new changes that you didn't see maybe 14 years ago when I first started coming here, 12, 14 years ago, you got a lot of young women that are taking the lead in producing mezcal.
This is very true.
Last week we had she was like 29. And she knew her mezcal, and the mezcals were delicious. So, this one plug that one also. So, come visit the place for the great food, the great coffee, the cocktails. Come enjoy our music, and definitely at the end of the month, come up and enjoy the mezcal fair on the terraza.
Okay, love that.
Was that enough plugs?
That was good. That was
or
good.
just come say hi to me.
Come to say hi. Yes. It's like cheers. Eventually he'll know your name. So that was absolutely fabulous. Thank you so much for that.
Hey, thank you.
Yes. So for you, audience, I want to share with you that we are here and we are filming the podcast at Lassle. And here is our things for Lassle. So there's a couple of things that we do at Lassle. So Lassle is, and I'm just going to do a little manifestation for you because we're not quite there yet, but we will be, an off-grid urban boutique hotel here in Oaxaca, right? So that's kind of our vision. So we exist. You can definitely come and stay here with us. We've done a lot already toward this vision. So we've got our solar water heaters and we've got our rainwater system, but it's a continuing process to really make your stay to have your footprint of your stay be minimal. That's probably a better way for it. I've had a little bit too much mezcal. I'm gonna come up with a better one for you next time. But just like a light footprint, right? As you come to Oaxaca and you're thinking about traveling to Oaxaca, a lot of us, you want to be conscious. And I'd like to help you be that conscious traveler by your stay here. And like I said, we are very, very purposeful about reusing. We are very purposeful about sharing resources. If we have extra water, we actually share it with our neighborhood. And for us, it's not just a stay, it's kind of a whole thought process of being here. So you can go take a look at our spaces at www.lassle.com, and that's how you spell it. And just because support is really, really important for us, we are in Mexico, and so in my mind anyway, the right thing to do is to support our Mexican brothers and sisters. So on our bags here, we feature on our different bags different artists. It's not even for sale or anything, it's just something that we kind of give to you. And over time we have different artists and art in the space. Again, just because if there is a way that we can use our voice, our platform, our space, anything to support others, we will absolutely do that in sometimes small ways, like the table, like this I think I got from Del Campo. It's probably about 45 minutes off of Huayapan. Sometimes it's small ways, sometimes it's big ways, but everything that we do is very purposeful to not only support the community, support the culture, but support the environment. Because at the end of the day, we all have to live on this earth together. And you know, we can't act like we're not an interconnected community. We are. Everything that I do has some kind of effect on other people. And that is
cheers to
it.
that.
Oh, yeah,
That
cool.
was great. Cheers to
Thank
Lassle.
you.
Thank you.
All right, salud.
Salud.
Well, bueno. Thank you so much for just coming. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you all for watching. As always, we really appreciate your time and just your sitting and listening with us. And we will see you next time on the next episode of Siesta with Suki. Ciao.